On a humid night in Umudike village, whispers fill the air like the shadows cast by the moon. It was said that only in the dead of night, under the ancient Iroko trees by the river, the drums would play. These were not ordinary drums. They were known as the forbidden drums of Owandigbe, hidden for generations, and said to awaken whenever two souls from feuding clans dared to cross the boundary of tradition. Nkem, a striking young woman with a voice like flowing honey, had heard these tales countless times. She was the pride of her clan, the daughter of the esteemed Ikemba family, renowned for their powerful voices and unwavering devotion to the customs of Umudike. But beneath her composed exterior, Nkem held a secret as deep as the river itself. She was in love with Ifeanyi, a talented drummer from the Nwanebu clan. The Nwanebu and Ikemba families had long been embroiled in a bitter feud over ancestral land, each accusing the other of betrayal and deceit. Their love story began innocently enough. Nkem and Ifeanyi met at the village festival, where he played his drum in a way that echoed in her soul, calling to her as if she had known him all her life. But as they stole glances and snuck away from the prying eyes of the villagers, the allure of the forbidden drums grew stronger, binding them to a prophecy neither fully understood. One night, under a full moon, they met by the river. Nkem's heart beat wildly as Ifeanyi's hands moved across the drums, each string pulsing through her body, mingling with her heartbeat. "Nkem," he whispered, his eyes intense, "do you believe in the legend of the forbidden drums?" She hesitated, her voice barely above a whisper. "They say the drums call out to those who dare to defy fate. But what if the drums are only calling to us to remind us of our family's anger?" At that moment, a sound deep and low resonated from within the dense forest. It wasn't Ifeanyi's drum. This was something older, deeper, a beat that vibrated through the earth and sent a chill up their spines. They stood frozen, eyes wide with wonder and fear, as the forbidden drums played on their own. "Do you hear that?" Ifeanyi whispered, his hand reaching for hers. They clung to each other, knowing they were bound by a force stronger than neither of their families could understand. As the drums grew louder, secrets buried deep in the heart of the feud began to unravel. Legends whispered that the ancestral spirit of Umudike had bound the Nwanebu and Ikemba clans together in an ancient pact, broken by a betrayal that led to the creation of the forbidden drums. These drums, said to be cursed, would play only for two hearts meant to reunite the clan. Over the following days, the drums continued to sound, no matter the time of day or night, capturing the village's attention. Elders whispers of omen, and the once vibrant villagers grew wary, casting suspicious glances at the river where the drums were heard. The mystery of the drums became the heartbeat of Umudike, and soon all fingers pointed to Nkem and Ifeanyi. Yet, despite the whispers and accusing glares, they continued to meet. But now, each secret rendezvous carried a haunting energy, as if the spirits themselves watched and waiting. Days turned into weeks, and with each beat of the forbidden drums, Nkem and Ifeanyi's love grew deeper. But a choice loomed over them. Would they be the ones to heal the decade-old wounds, or would they be consumed by the curse of the drums? The night of the annual village ceremony arrived. As drums and flutes echoed through Umudike, elders from both clans assembled in the village square, their faces etched with the weight of history. Just as the festivals began, the forbidden drum rang out once more, louder and clearer than ever, casting a spell over the entire gathering. As the crowd gasped, Ifeanyi and Nkem stepped forward, their hands intertwined, their hearts daring to defy the hate of enmity. But they knew the cause. Love had caught them together, but the drums demanded a sacrifice. Would the drums lead them to healing or to their doom? As the forbidden drum beat in a steady, hypnotic rhyme, the village square grew silent. Nkem and Ifeanyi stood before the elders, their hands clasped tightly, a defiant yet sorrowful resolve in their eyes. The entire village seemed to hold its breath, captivated by the haunting sound that echoes from an unseen force. No one dared to move. Even the elders, who usually carried themselves with an unshakable air of authority, exchanged uncertain glances. Obieze, the oldest elder of the Ikemba clan, leaned forward, his voice quivering as he spoke. These drums were never meant to be heard by mortal ears again. They carry the weight of an ancient curse. You too have unleashed something that cannot be stopped without a price. Ifeanyi, his jaw clenched but his eye determined, spoke up. If love is a crime, then let the drums beat until the stars fall from the sky. Nkem and I have done nothing wrong. A murmur rippled through the crowd, some whispering that the young couple was bewitched, others speculating that the ancestral spirits had chosen them for a purpose. Nkem felt Ifeanyi's grip tighten on her hand, his silent promise that he would stand by her, come what may. But the drums did not cease. Their pulse grew faster, matching the frantic beating of every heart in the square. In the shadows, an old woman, dressed in faded, earth-colored wraps, slowly approached the couple. She was Nwabuogo, a reclusive seer, known for her cryptic messages and ties to the spirit world. Many believe she was mad. Others that she held secret of the village that even the elders dare not speak of. Nwabuogo's voice, raspy and haunting, cut through the silence. The forbidden drums play not for punishment, but for redemption. Her eyes, cloudy with age, narrowed as she pointed a gnarled finger at the elders. Long ago, a grave sin was committed, one that fractured the bond between your clans. This boy and girl are merely vessels chosen to set things right. The elders stiffened, their faces turning pale. Obieze tried to interrupt, but Nwabuogo's voice grew louder, as if fueled by unforeseen force. The cause of the forbidden drums began when an Ikemba chieftain betrayed his brother from the Nwanebo clan. He converted the sacred land and to secure his claim, he framed his brother, accusing him of sorcery and banishing him from the village. Gasps erupted from the crowd. This betrayal, kept hidden for generations, was the root of the enmity between the clans. The drums grew louder, vibrating the ground beneath them, and the villagers could feel the spirits stirring, watching and waiting. Obieze's voice trembled. Is there no way to break this curse? Nwabugor turned to Nkem and Ifeanyi, her gaze piercing. There is a way, but it requires a sacrifice of the purest heart, a life freely given to restore what was taken. The crowd fell silent as her voice hung in the air, heavy with the finality of fate. Nkem looked at Ifeanyi, her heart breaking, yet a strange calm washing over her. She stepped forward, her voice strong, despite the tears glistening in her eyes. If my life can bring peace, then I will give it. I do not fear for the cause, for my love is true. But before she could move further, Ifeanyi pulled her back, his face edged with anguish. No, Nkem, this isn't your burden to bear. If one of us must pay the price, it will be me. Nkem shook her head, holding his face in her hands. If you leave this world, what will remain of us? If I must go, at least I will go knowing I set our people free. The crowd watched, spellbound, as the two lovers held each other. The drums grew softer, as if waiting for their final decision. But then a voice cried out from the crowd. It was Obieze, tears streaming down his withered face. Enough! This curse is ours to bear, not these innocent children's. The sins of our fathers cannot rest on the shoulders of love. The elders of both clans stepped forward, bowing their hands in silence, in agreement, and one by one they knelt before Nkem and Ifeanyi. Each elder, hardened by years of bitterness and pride, offered their apologies, speaking of the long-buried regrets and seeking forgiveness. And as each elder laid bare their sins, the drums began to fade, their pulse slowly to a gentle hum. The spirits, satisfied, seemed to recede back into the earth, taking with them the burden of the curse. The forbidden drums had been silent, not by death, but by the decision of those who had wronged. Nkem and Ifeanyi stood in the glow of dawn, their love no longer a forbidden secret, but a beacon of hope. As they held each other under the first light of a new day, they knew that the sins of the past had been cleansed. Together, they would rebuild, not just for their clans, but for the generation yet to come. The drums had fallen silent, but their legacy would echo in Umudike's heart for all eternity.